Semester number one, lesson number one. Our aim today is how did geographical features affect the development of the United States? And for your do now, two questions to think about. What geography did you see on your way to school this morning? And the second one, how many geographic features can you think of in the United States? Write each one down and explain what each is and where it is located. Your homework, which is due Friday, is to create a formal color map of the United States at home with a key that includes a minimum, at least, 10 geographic features. So today is our introduction to geography. Before we start talking about U.S. history, we need to have a general understanding of the geography of the United States. And geography, defined simply, is the study of the Earth's landforms. And a geographic feature is an example of a landform. And hopefully you could think of a few examples, and if not, we'll clarify that in a second. Here are a few examples right here if you are stuck. Some of the significant U.S. geographic features are the Atlantic and Pacific Oceans. The Atlantic Ocean, we need to know, is located on the eastern coast of the United States, and the Pacific Ocean is located on the western coast of the United States. And when we think about the East Coast, which is the coast we live on, all right, the ocean right next to us is the Atlantic, and the Atlantic Ocean separates us from Europe. On the other side of the Atlantic Ocean is Europe. If you go over to the Pacific Ocean, where California is, to the west of California is the Pacific Ocean, and on the other side of the Pacific Ocean is Asia. So on the western coast, we are separated by the Pacific Ocean, which separates us from Asia. On the eastern coast, the Atlantic Ocean separates us from Europe. The Great Plains is a flat, grassy region of the United States located between the Mississippi River and the Rocky Mountains. It is very good for farming. We need to know that. That is incredibly important for this year, and we're going to learn about that a lot. It's called the breadbasket of the United States because most of our food comes from the Great Plains. The Mississippi River, also incredibly important to the development of the United States, is the longest river in the United States. It runs north-south in the middle of the country. It empties into the Gulf of Mexico and New Orleans, Louisiana. Um, the areas around the Mississippi River are great for farming, and trade will take place along the river. Whenever we talk about a river, especially the Mississippi River, the two T's, trade and transportation. The Appalachian Mountains is located in the northeastern part of the United States. It provides a natural barrier for early settlers. It was not good for farming, so obviously living in the Appalachian Mountain area or near it, you weren't going to be able to yield a good crop, and that's how most of these early settlers survived. So a lot of people did not live in the Appalachian Mountains. Let's look at the Mississippi River. This is a map of the Mississippi River, and as you can see, it starts in the Gulf of Mexico. And common sense, the Gulf of Mexico connects to um, the Atlantic Ocean, which is a major body of water, and as you can see, it goes north to south all the way into the Gulf of Mexico. And I want you to think about life in the 1600s, the 1700s, and the 1800s. Why do you believe the Mississippi River was so important? And explain your answer. All right, we'll talk about that in class, so be prepared to answer. Directions. It is incredibly important that we understand direction. All right. The Rocky Mountains is located in the western part of the United States. The southern border of the United States, the border country is Mexico. The northern border of the United States, the border country is Canada. All right. And on the right, we have a compass rose, which for some reason a lot of students struggle with direction, and that's something we need to change. Um, and I know you guys all get your little ways to remember this. Never eat soggy waffles, whatnot. North, east, south, west. All right, and that is a good way to remember it. Never eat soggy waffles. Check for understanding. The relatively flat, grassy region of the United States between the Mississippi River and the Rocky Mountains is known as A, the Great Plains, B, the Great Basin, C, the Coastal Plain, or D, Piedmont. Every day you'll have one or two check for understanding questions. These are always Regents questions from past Regents exams that connect to what we have learned today. The correct answer, we will talk about it in class. Your work today is you are going to use maps and notes from today to answer a series of questions based on the important geographic features discussed. At the end of class, we will discuss in deep detail these features. All right. I'm going to, when you get into school, you're going to see that I have a map up. We are going to need to understand the geography of the United States before we go any further in anything. Very important that we understand all the features of the United States and how they affected American development. That is it for tonight. Have a good night, and I will see you tomorrow.